Letošnji CES je ves v znamenju zaslonov. Od 48-palčnih televizorjev do virtualnih očal, ki jih vozniki Audija A-MI nosijo med vožnjo. Ampak tisto, kar je še posebej presenetilo, pa je ideja, da naj bi med vožnjo na teh zaslonih gledali filme. No, to odpira povsem novo poglavje v avtomobilizmu. Televizijo na armaturni plošči si lahko kupci prestižnih avtomobilov omislijo že vsaj od 80-ih let naprej. Ta ponudba pa zanima zanemarljiv delež kupcev, ker v resnici prav nič ne preseneča, saj televizija predvaja program zgolj med postanki. A startupovci pravijo, da bo že kmalu drugače.
The timing is right. The market is ready for an alternative premium electric vehicle.
Prvi mož nove avtomobilske znamke Byton se je verjetno v svoje izjave navezoval bolj na električni pogon, kot pa na 48-palčni zaslon, ki ga ponuja novi luksuzni potovalnik. Kajti težko si predstavljamo, da so 60.000 rezervacij osvojili zgolj za zaslon, na katerem gledaš filme kvečjemu takrat, ko polniš baterijo tega avta. A prav lahko se motimo.
In today's tech-driven environments, the concept of the living room as the place where we want to consume our entertainment has greatly expanded, and now it's really wherever we happen to be and have access to a connected screen, including a car. Our approach at Viacom CBS is to really embrace these changes. We want to be wherever our viewers want to consume content. We're poised to deliver on the future of automotive entertainment for passengers, and soon we'll deliver these experiences for drivers as well when we start to move into the autonomous future of this car driving itself.
Prodaja zabave med vožnjo pa zanima tudi Sony. Avtomobilsko presenečenje številka 1.
There is a mega trend of mobile automobility. So by the same token, certainly there will be some opportunities for us to be able to showcase the experience of, living room for music, movies, or even others in the car. We have content. So for us, Visiones is to continuously be able to demonstrate and bring together the latest of the portfolio of services and products that Sony can bring to the public.
In potem je tu še en startup, ki pravi, da so zasloni v avtu glavni. Faraday Future, znamka, ki se trudi na ceste pripeljati električni avto s 3 motorji skupne moči skoraj 800 kW. Kako zelo začetniško so se projekta lotili, dokazuje dejstvo, da v avtu polstikal ni delovalo, v resnici pa tudi dejstvo, da je voznik kar po ulicah okoli Sejmiščah, na cestah polnih parkiranih avtomobilov ter stavb na levi in desni, demonstrira, kako močno sune 2,6 sekundni pospešek do 100 km/h. A kakorkoli, kot sovoznik v tem avtomobilu sem lahko med vožnjo gledal YouTube, medtem ko je ta voznik neodgovorno in nevarno ogrozil promet. In menda je zvočni sistem zasnovan tako, da lahko vsak potnik posluša in gleda svojo video vsebino. Pustimo ob strani dejstvo, da ta sistem v predstavitvenem avtomobilu tako ali tako ni deloval, a tudi če bi mi to komentirali kot razvrednotenje človeških odnosov. No, že uveljavljena znamka Audi je v Las Vegas prav tako pripeljala avto z ogromnim zaslonom, pa tudi z očali za navidezno resničnost. Toda besede članice uprave so jasno izražale, da uveljavljena znamka na aktualne spremembe v družbi gleda realistično, z neko razumsko distanco. Ima pač že izkušnje z velikimi napovedmi, kako se bo vse skupaj spremenilo čez noč.
Do you think this is really the car for today?
Well, if you look at A-MI now, here we have a display band that is going across the whole front here. And I think that shows what is technically possible. But, at Audi we say Vorsprung durch Technik, or we say progress. But progress by technology does not mean that you necessarily always use everything that is technologically wise possible. You need to deploy the right things. You need to deploy those technologies that make sense for a customer, that create a value, that add value to him. Still, it's a car, it's driving on the road, and as long as we're not driving completely autonomous, I think we need to be realistic as well in terms of what is feasible and how can you best really use it when you are driving a car, not just when you're standing here and watch a Netflix series, right?
Še bolj pomembna pa je treznost glede financ.
I don't think it's limited to saying, okay, by putting some movies into the car, you earn money. I don't think that's the right scale here. The business model as it used to be is no longer just 100% working like this. So we need to open up. And there are, of course, things you have to try and try again. And there are things that are working really well. And Audi On Demand is working, for example, really well, and we can earn money with that. So profitable growth is the right direction to go for.
Seveda se tako uveljavljene kot tudi nove znamke soočajo z istimi težavami, odločitve so tvegane za vse. A bistveno vprašanje pa je, kdo bo morebitne napake lažje skompenziral.
Everybody is in the automotive space is currently trying to figure out what to do first. It's not what to do, it's what to do first, because there are so many opportunities and so many things you should try and iterate and get better and fail. And, you know, we could see that in the music business that 15 years ago, big studios thought they were going to go out of business, and now they're dominating and they're better off than ever. So it's kind of, we're in that transition phase. So it's a lot of trial and error. But what is very important is that your hardware and your software is scalable towards a lot of different directions.
A če je kaj že skoraj povsem jasno, pa je to dejstvo, da bodo avtomobili prihodnosti pravi kamermani. Snemali bodo na vse konce, navzven in navznoter. Na CES-u so pokazali celo koncept, ki snema dogajanje pod avtom, da lahko voznik gleda kar skozi motor. Pa ne samo to.
The driving recorder is recording the condition on the road for safety reasons, but we could also make some movies out of that. That kind of captures the memory of your experience, will be able to be shared with your friends and even with the social.
In kamere bodo snemale tudi kabino.
We have a lot of sensors in our cars already anyway, and we can use those sensors to check a little bit more on, for example, your health situation, on your vitality situation. For example, with a camera, the eye tracking could realize whether you're very tired today and what sort of mood you are in. And then we could fix, for example, the lighting. You can use a special light that is more invigorating for you, and you can have the massage on.
No, pomaknimo se v bližnjo prihodnost.
How we will in the future detect that the driver is tired?
So at the moment we are mainly using different inputs like steering behavior of the driver, and then with the camera systems introduced in the current vehicle generations, we mainly consider face information, so mainly eye information, like changing frequency of the eye blinks, eye opening, stuff like that. And in the future there will be even more information considered, for example, certain actions that you see at the driver, like yawing, or if we have a chance to see the driver's body, we can also monitor the body behavior. So if you get tired, you typically show some behavior, scrubbing your face and moving your body in a certain way, maybe putting your head down, and this can all be considered by the algorithms inside the system.
Pri Boschu pa so z zaslonom nadomestili celo pripomoček, za katerega sploh ne bi pomislili, da bi ga bilo treba priklopiti v elektriko.
This is the virtual visor. This replaces the traditional sun visor with a transparent liquid crystal display coupled with a driver monitoring camera, and it selectively only blocks the part of the visor where the sun would be hitting your eyes. This increases the visibility through the visor by about 90%. And it automates the visor. So you put it down once, and then whether your head moves or if you're driving and you turn left or right, it automatically adjusts and blocks only where the sun would be hitting your eyes.
In prihodnost je vse bliže. Pa ne samo zaradi povečanja števila kamer v avtu, morda še bolj pomembna novost je nagrajeni kitajski LiDAR brez vrtečih komponent.
What is the difference between that solid state LiDAR and the spinning LiDAR?
Well, the first thing is that the technology is different. And because mechanical spinning LiDAR, they're using the mechanical spinning technology, and the solid state LiDAR, we're using the MEMS technology to reflect the environments. It is able to cut down the components into like a few, maybe 10 or 20 components inside it. Compared with the mechanical spinning LiDAR, they have like hundreds or thousands of components inside. So it's able for us to cut down the cost to make it possible for mass production of self-driving vehicles. And the second thing is that we have the AI perception algorithm embedded inside. So it makes it easier for us to output the real-time data that is being processed with the AI perception algorithm. So the car can make the driving decision faster.
RoboSensor LiDAR seveda tudi pospešuje prehod v dobo samovozečih avtomobilov, toda ponudnikov mobilnosti cesta ni več dovolj. Leteči taksiji so vse bolj otipljivi.
Večino prevozov po Las Vegasu smo opravili z Uberjem, torej z avtomobilom in po cesti. Logično, ne? Ampak To ne bo več tako logično že v bližnji prihodnosti. Na dan pred uradno otvoritvijo salona se je namreč Hyundai pridružil skupini z Uberjem na čelu, ki raziskuje in načrtuje, da bodo že čez 2 leti taksiji leteli po zraku na višini od 300 do 600 metrov s hitrostjo do 300 km/h. Zaenkrat obljubljajo, da naj bi bil doseg takelega, rečemo mu električnega helikopterja, nekje do 100 km, kar bo zadosti, da bodo lahko upravljali prevoz iz enega konca mesta na drugega. Seveda, prostora je za 4 osebe plus pilota. V prihodnje načrtujejo, da bo ta stvar letela sama. Naročilo se bo seveda s telefonom.
A vrnimo se k zabavi. Tudi na zvočnem področju se dogajajo tektonski premiki.
If I understand correctly, at Sennheiser you actually like vibrations of the dashboard.
We do when they are controlled and when they are curated and when these vibrations are good sound. The idea behind it is really just to remove the weight of the speakers and the space requirements that speakers would have in the car. Because our part of the collaboration is to design the software and to make sure that the tuning of the entire system is right, so that it's really great sound.
How do you tune the plastic of the dashboard?
That's really how the accentuator is being used. The plastic of the dashboard is of course a physical property that we need to take into account, like the diaphragm from a traditional speaker. But as soon as these properties are known, they can be controlled through software. What we do is we overlay any residual sound with the good sound. So the good vibration, so to say, that people are then able to hear.
CES oziroma po slovensko sejem zabavne elektronike že sam po sebi pove, čemu je namenjen. Zabavni elektroniki. Skozi leta je bila ena glavnih rdeči niti televizija in z njo zasloni. Ti so zelo pomembni tudi zdaj, malce drugačni.
Pri zaslonih v avtomobilih sploh ne gre več samo za zaslone, ki nam omogočajo upravljanje avtomobila. Danes jih uporabljajo tudi recimo v smislu varnosti, ampak vendarle, zasloni v avtomobilih prihodnosti nam bojo omogočili tudi samo zabavo, gledanje filmov. In smo spet na začetku, pri zabavni elektroniki.
A če tudi se vračamo na začetek, je vseeno pomembno nekaj drugega. Pomembno je to, da v avtomobilih ne bo potrebno več teh naprav imeti zato, da bomo lahko predvajali filme oziroma uživali v zabavni elektroniki. Avtomobili bodo postali samozadostna zabavna elektronika.
Želite dokaz?
I think it's the right moment that we do a selfie.
Amy can do a selfie. Here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Jeez. Awesome.
Predlagamo, da pogled v prihodnost nadaljujete z zgodbo, ki pravi, da se avtomobilski industriji ni treba bati prihodnosti. Spoznajte tudi Teslo, avto, ki že danes nudi ogromen zaslon namesto klasične armature. In na CES-u smo govorili tudi slovensko, pri Chipolu, ki ponuja pameten obesek za vaše ključe. Poglejte.